To be honest, Big Ramy won this. He won this round.
What's up guys and welcome. You are watching Fazi Fitness. So let's start this video with the recent physique update from Andrew Jacked. So is there a chance that Andrew is gonna compete in one of these upcoming shows in a month or so? Well, he did not take any time off after this year's Arnold, and the man went straight back into the gym, back to work. And although this is light work for him, but he has been pushing some seriously heavy weights in the gym in the past couple of weeks. And realistically speaking, if Andrew decides to do any of these upcoming shows, like the Arnold Brazil, or FIBA Germany, or Detroit Pro, or the Pittsburgh Pro, I believe he's gonna clean house. Because let's be real, the only two guys who beat him at this past Arnold, they were two Miss Olympia champions, Derek and Samson Dauda, and no one else is even close to Andrew Jacked, unless of course he's going for this upcoming Pittsburgh Pro against Nick Walker and Martin Fitzwater.
So yeah, we're still trying to stay big. Trying to stay big and full while improving our package.
Now you have got to appreciate the amount of effort that Andrew Jack puts into that posing routine. The kind of splits that he does, they are almost impossible, especially for a guy like Andrew. And the man just executes them with so much perfection. And that too in front of thousands and thousands of people. And he just would not be this good if he did not practice this over and over again. So Andrew does need another long off season in order for him to win that Miss Olympia title. Because the thing is, that is the ultimate goal. So the biggest improvements that we saw in Andrew's physique, they were last year when he stepped on Texas Pro stage after almost 1 year. And that was the first time he skipped the Arnold Ohio. So there is no doubt that his side shorts looked way better at this past Arnold. But there is still that gap that Andrew needs to close between him and Samson Dauda. Because that is probably the only guy who can beat Samson Dauda when Samson is 100%. And the reason is the height, and Andrew's insane structure, and his unreal aesthetics. Guys, Hostile just launched some new signature and Dark Knight hoodies, and new range of colors in their iconic Shield tee, so do check them out and use the code FAZI10 to get 10% extra discount. Next up, we have an update from Rafael Brandao. So I saw some comments that Rafael is looking kind of small compared to Samson Dauda. Well, for those of you guys who do not know, Rafael right now is dealing with a bowel issue, and that has led him to dropping a lot of size, a lot of protein in his daily meals, and this whole cleansing process. That can take up to a few months. So Rafael isn't trying to be the biggest guy in the world. Plus, on top of that, Samson Dauda is way bigger than Rafael. At the moment, Rafael Brandao is just trying to recover, and him downsizing at the moment. That makes perfect sense. So this can be like a very big blow for Rafael Brandao because he just won't be able to utilize the whole year to get bigger in certain areas, which was originally his plan. And we have to keep in mind, this was the first time in Rafael's career when he was able to secure his Olympia qualification so early in the season, and the plan was to take the whole year off and come back at the Olympia later this year with a lot more size. So Rafael Brandao is in that same category as Regan Grimes. They both turned pro way back in 2017, but in terms of pure size, pure muscle, both these guys, they haven't been able to progress as fast as some of these other guys, like the mutant Nick Walker, Hunter Labrada, Samson, or even Martin. So can you guys imagine how high Brandao would have been placing if he had the same size as, let's say, Samson Dauda? Because he has more of an eye-pleasing physique, he has better aesthetics than Samson, he has way better classic lines. Now, it was pretty disappointing to see Rafael Brandao drop for the last show that he did in 2024, where although he was able to beat a guy like Akeem Williams, but he was kinda downsized. So Brandao wants to be top 5 in the world. But in order to do that, he needs more size, he needs more mass. Next up, we have the physique update from Juan Peralta. So Juan took more than 2 years off, solely to grow, to get bigger, and put on more muscle in all the right areas. And the man did put in work during this time span. And that is why his physique has changed so much all around in these past 2 years. And honestly, that is some crazy size right there that he is currently maintaining. And that too at such a young age. So Juan so far has done just one pro show, and that was his pro debut, which he did back in 2023, and that was at Emperor Classic Spain. And that, by the way, was also in front of his home crowd. But that was a real eye-opener for a guy like Juan, as that show had guys like Michael Crizo and Andrea Presti and Roman Fritz, and also a guy like Josema Beast, who was also making his pro debut. So standing next to all these guys, that made him realize that he needs to go back to the drawing board, and that is what he did. And now that the prep is underway, his physique is changing very fast. So the most impressive aspect of his physique right now, they are his quads. He has that awesome quad sweep, and that is gonna allow him to create such a good V-taper and also have that crazy X-frame on the stage. Now I certainly hope that his waist also comes in very nicely as he gets deeper and deeper into this prep. Now I think Milos Sarcev, he is also associated with Juan's prep because he did train him a couple of times earlier this year, and Milos was greatly impressed with all that progress that Juan was able to make during these past 2 off seasons. Now he hasn't made any show announcement just yet, but considering the way he looks right now, this is gonna be a 12 weeks prep for him, and he might be going back to doing Spain Pro again in his home country. Next up is the update of the former 2 times Miss Olympia champion, Big Ramy. Now the thing is, as long as Big Ramy doesn't make the official announcement that he's retired, he's gonna be relevant, because Ramy had a huge fan base. I mean, he still does, and there will always be a hope that Big Ramy will have a one last go, and we will see him on the stage one more time before he hangs up the posing trunks for good. So Brandon Carey started competing earlier than Big Ramy, and he's also older than Big Ramy, but we are looking at a guy who weighed 350 pounds for most part of his career, and he will certainly have more health concerns regardless of his age. Now if Big Ramy had this mindset, then he can certainly make a comeback, but the chances of him winning the Olympia or the Arnold ever again, they are almost zero at this point. His physique just has changed a lot in the past few years, and Ramy's waist right now, that is a very good example that the older these bodybuilders get, the more their overall look changes. And the main reason for that is the waistline. So Big Ramy is still pretty massive, but this still isn't even close to what he looked like in his prime. And he isn't supposed to look hot. He must be running very minimal amount of gear right now. So Big Ramy simply did not get appreciated the way he should have been, because people just always wanted him to have that same quality as Phil Heath, which is something he just never could have had because of the genetics. Now on a different note, Andrew Jacked in his most recent YouTube video, he thought that Big Ramy should have won the Olympia back in 2017, and that was a very interesting take. But do let me know what you guys think. Was Olympia 2017 a fair call?
To be honest, Big Ramy won this. He won this round. He won this show. Phil just capitalized on his dominance as the reigning Miss Olympia, but Ramy did win.
Next up, we have a 10 days old physique update from Ronald Gordon. So some say Ron can be a dark horse for this upcoming Detroit Pro. Now this could be true if his legs were as good as his upper body. I mean, that upper half is just unbelievable. Look at the size of his arms, and he has got that unbelievable shape as well. Now I certainly hope that he's posting those old physique updates to kind of fool the competition, because going by those updates, it is quite clear that he's gonna have a bit of an imbalance between his upper and lower body on the stage. So Ron just did one show last year, and that was this same show, and the man looked insane. That was his best look to date, and even his conditioning looked extremely impressive last year in Detroit. So he's working with the coach Abdullah from the O2 gyms, so hopefully Abdullah can bring him big and full as a house for this upcoming Detroit Pro, but at the same time, absolutely ripped. So there is that one video of Ron from the off-season where the man looks like a superhero. The way he opens up, that is simply unbelievable. The size of his arms, along with those lats, and the way all that comes together with a small waistline, that is pure insanity. Now, it is quite clear at this point that the quads of Ron, they are a genetically inferior muscle group on him. So Ron was top 3 at Detroit Pro last year. And if he can crack top 3 again in this kind of lineup, that will be a superb achievement. And hopefully this time around, Ron is gonna do more than just one show in the year. So hit the thumbs up button if you liked the video. And smash the subscribe button if you wanna come back for more. Thanks for watching.